Please may the house come to order. We will be proceeding to the opening ceremony for the Ayala UFB Model United Nations. So welcome to our second Ayala UN Model United Nations Conference. We have been planning this workshop for a few months now, and I, as chair representing the American School of Bilbao, can barely say that we feel ecstatic to return here to Colegio Ayala, as we did it previously in winter. And well, we believe that we are proud here to do one of, in my opinion, the newfound passions of the ASB students, as well as the Ayala students, which is MUN. Ms. Cristina Cornell and I, de Ortece, have the honor to be chairing again this conference, and I also have the pleasure to be debating as a delegate leader on the ECOSOC committee. This conference will soon come to a start. However, since we have a lot of new people, I would like to go over the rules for this conference and to go a little bit about MUN and to talk a little bit about MUN history. So since we have various newcomers to the General Assembly, referred to as GA in MUN slang, we have various, I would like to talk a little bit about how it originally started, which was in the 1920s, when the Model United Nations was called the Model League of Nations. And this was introduced to the American youth in the University of St. Lawrence, which is in New York, and this was a way to empower the American youth into joining the political career, since it wasn't very popular at that time. And when the actual League of Nations just deceased in 1946, which it only lasted 46 years. The successor organization, which is the United Nations, quickly became popular, and so did the Model United Nations conferences. Now, back in the 21st century, we use MUN as an extracurricular activity that helps us learn about different points of view on other countries that have very problematic views on the topic. And in my opinion, MUN is a very interesting way to open your mind to other cultures and religions. So the official language established for this conference is obviously the formal English, and therefore any other language spoken in the committee is banned by the delegates. The delegates are allowed to use electronic devices, but only for work-related matters and research. And please remember that whenever a delegate addresses another delegate, to use personal pronouns such as he, she, to not use, personal pronouns such as he, she, me, you, him, and so on. Finally, as chairs, we would like to encourage everyone and single one of you to take advantage of this workshop, since it is a very close replica to various conferences that you will all be attending next school year. Ms. Cornell and I would like to remind everybody to not be scared to express their opinion of your countries, and to remind you that even if your country has a radical point of view, to not use it as comedy. Today is a day meant for learning and improving all of our MUN skills, so really use your time here wisely and productively. Please remember that you are all here to learn and become better MUN delegates, and to expand on your MUN knowledge and not humiliate or look better than any other. Our delegates have been working from so this is a message for the parents. Our delegates have been working from 9 to 1 on drafting resolutions on the topics of the mistreatment of women in the Committee of ECOSOC, the South China Sea dispute in the Committee of Disarmament, and the European refugee crisis in the Committee of Human Rights. One chosen resolution out of each committee will be entertained during the General Assembly. And if we have time, we will go over some different ones. So please, delegates, if your resolution has not been selected to debate, we ask you to do your best possible and to not be mad at us. Coming to my closing remarks now, the chairs wish you a happy and productive conference, and now without more delays, I declare the Ayala ASB 2016 Model United Nations begun. So now we will be moving on to the ambassador speeches, so please house come to order, and Ms. Cornell will choose a country out of all of the ones in the committee to start their ambassador speech, and then we will go by alphabetical order. So Austria, you're first. And please, Brunei, China, and Germany come to the podium. So after the delegate of Austria finishes her opening speech, we can move on to the next one. And after the 4 speeches are done, we will allow 2 points of information without reply. So point of information from the other delegates in the room to the ambassadors. So please, China, Brunei, and Germany.
May I start?
So when the delegate is ready, you may proceed.
Dear honorable chairs and fellow delegates, the Austrian delegation is honored to take part in this conference. As you may know, Austria has suffered for many years the consequences of feudal wars, many times motivated by economic, border, or natural resource conflicts. Therefore, it is deeply committed to solving any type of conflict, due to the fact that millions of people have died in Europe because of these. As a member of the International Council of Women, it aims, promotes, and protects the rights of women in order to make the world a safer and happier place for women. Furthermore, like other members of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, it is obliged to lead and coordinate international action to safeguard the rights and well-being of refugees and resolve refugee problems worldwide. As for the South China Sea dispute, Austria is looking forward to putting an end to this conflict by peaceful means in order to avoid any armed conflict. As you can see, Austria aims to put an end to all the issues to be discussed today by peaceful means in order to maintain peace for mankind's well-being and for the sake of the human race. No one, not a single man or child, should die anymore because of these reasons. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. And please clap when the four ambassadors have finished. Thank you, Delegate. You may go back. China, you may start when you are ready. Brunei, sorry. You may start when you are ready.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegate, it is an honor to represent the nation of Brunei Darussalam at this conference. The delegation of Brunei looks forward to a rewarding conference in which we will make extensive efforts to issue a resolution. Located on the north coast of the island of Borneo in Southeast Asia, Brunei is a sovereign state that is governed as a unitary Islamic absolute monarchy by Sultan Mudhahi Hassan al-Bolkiah. Due to Brunei's vast array of developmental resources such as petroleum and natural gas fields and high economic growth during the 1990s and the 2000s, Brunei is ranked 5th in the world by gross domestic product. It is also one of the two only countries in the planet with a public debt of 0% of the national GDP. Brunei is concerned with many significant issues that affect our present-day world. First, we are deeply involved in the South China Sea conflict, especially the disputes including, but not limited to, the following plots of land: the 9-line area presently claimed by the People's Republic of China, the maritime boundary along the Vietnamese coast, and the maritime boundary north of Borneo. Brunei is further concerned about human rights issues such as the extensive rights of human and LGBTQ communities in Europe. Brunei has recently adopted the Sharia Penal Code Order in 2013 to better control human behavior and legislation concerning it in our territory. Brunei wishes that all of these issues are addressed in order to reestablish world order in the root causes of anger, injustice, hatred, and despair must be addressed. In order to do so,
Delegate, please do not speak. Go.
Fellow delegates, esteemed chairs, and honorable guests, the delegation of the People's Republic of China is deeply honored to be here. The Chinese delegation believes in the power of the United Nations. Time and time again, the United Nations have shown that, if united, all of the problems in the world can be solved. We are present here in order to achieve mutual understanding and find a common solution. Even though we believe that solving the dispute in the South China Sea is the most pressing issue to be debated at this conference, we will gladly debate on the other topics. We hope to have a fruitful debate and achieve a solution that benefits everyone and anyone. Thank you for your time.
Honorable chairs, fellow delegates, esteemed guests, we, the Federal Republic of Germany, are overjoyed to take part in this conference. Germany, as you all know, is a wonderful country located in Europe, a great country. We are one of the countries which has shifted from totalitarianism in 1945 to one of the best examples of democracy and tolerance in today's world. Germany is led by Chancellor Merkel, and we can say we're proud. The issues discussed today are of great importance to the nation, since these issues can affect our country and peace is our main aim. We will try to overcome these issues which the world, our world, suffers from as best as possible. Quoting Peter Drucker, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. No, wait. So, we're now entertaining 2 points of information with no reply from the ambassadors, so please, all the ambassadors. So, are there any points in the House? Raise your placards now. Any? No. Well, since there are none, we all be able to progress to share. Thank you. Clapping is in order. We will now entertain the opening speeches from Greece, Hungary, India, and Malaysia. So, please When the delegate is ready,
Honorable chairs, delegates, and distinguished guests, the Greek delegation is honored to be here today and thanks everyone for attending this conference. Several important issues affecting most of the countries present will be debated and reasonable solutions will hopefully be found. The country of Greece, currently with a population of around 19,900,000, depends on shipping, tourism, and agriculture, which has recently entered a major economic crisis in 2009 and has suffered immense consequences since then. Greece is deeply affected by the refugee crisis due to its location in the center of the Mediterranean Sea, making it easy and convenient for the refugees from the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and Asia to enter for a country. This is a problem for Greece because the country cannot afford to let the refugees in. The Greek delegation hopes that a solution to this problem is found. Aside from this, Greece will also have the honor of debating the topics of mistreatment of women and the South China Sea dispute. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Hungary.
Honorable chairs, fellow delegates, and distinguished guests. The delegation of Hungary is delighted to have the opportunity to take part in this conference to debate and hopefully solve major problems the world suffers from in our present day. Hungary is a landlocked country in Central Europe, which borders with no fewer than 7 countries. Its capital city is Budapest, with a population of 1,709 million. After centuries, as a powerful medieval kingdom, Hungary was part of the Ottoman and then Habsburg empires from the 16th century as an independent country after First World War. In addition, this country attaches a great importance to women mistreatment problems such as China Sea dispute and refugees issues. So the delegation of Hungary believes that these problems must be solved in order to create a better world. Thank you for your attention.
India.
Honorable chairs, dear delegates, distinguished guests, it's a pleasure to give this speech as Ambassador of India, which has been a member of the United Nations since the 10th of October 1945. Bearing in mind the different issues discussed in this conference, the delegation of India would like to take part by trying to find different solutions to the mistreatment of women, the South China Sea dispute, especially to the problem of the refugees in Europe, referring particularly to Syria, which is an issue that affects us all in different ways. Besides, during the past 20 years, India accepted over 150,000 refugees who have been followed over from Tibet. Fortunately, the delegation of India supports the right to have a decent life. So many countries have the must to help those people, at least economically. considering that they are living in awful conditions that nobody should. Although India is located thousands of kilometers away from Syria, this delegation wants to try to convince the other delegates to help those poor people who are suffering the consequences of the war, and hopefully find a solution to this issue along the two other topics. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Delegate. Before Malaysia proceeds, delegates, please pay attention to the ambassador's speeches because we will be entertaining much information later, and we really want them. We really want the conference to go. So please pay attention to the ambassador's speeches.
Honorable Chairs, fellow delegates, and distinguished guests, the Malaysian delegation is honored to take part in this conference. Malaysia consists of 13 states and 3 federal territories. Its capital is Kuala Lumpur, but Putrajaya is its government seat. The head of state is the King Yang di Pertuan. Malaysia was colonized by the United Kingdom in the 18th century, and it started to exist as Malaysia in 1963. During the second half of the 20th century, Malaysia quickly developed economically and has grown as a modern and unified country. Today, we have 3 issues to speak about: human rights, women's rights, and the South China Sea dispute. Syria, once a peaceful nation, is now in a war against some radicals and the terrorists of the Islamic State. Thousands of people flee from war, but no one seems to want to help them. Women are the majority of the world's population and should be treated according to their condition. But to ensure that their rights are respected, they need the protection of males. Finally, the South China Sea conflict needs to be solved after several years of conflict. This conflict has caused great pain to all the countries involved and must be resolved as soon as possible, giving each one what it deserves. Malaysia is willing to help find viable solutions to these 3 problems. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, for ambassadors. Are there any points of information to the ambassador? The points will be going from Russia and Germany.
You have no money to carry over to the solutions of the camp, such as Germany.
Delegate, please restrain your research on problems such as you.
This is to the delegate of Hungary. So, how does the country plan to resolve the refugee crisis in Europe if we have closer borders to the refugees?
Please restrain your research on problems such as you. Thank you. You may all give the question.